good morning and welcome to Joy News at 6. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM and hits 103.9 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we are on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 60 regions, including Clenham Radio, Bator, Gaskiar FM, Techiman, and Radio Wa. Get radio, TV, and online content on the myjoyonline.com interactive app for Android and iOS devices. Coming up, Ministry of Roads and Highways asked EUCO to fully investigate allegations that road contractors are asked to pay 1 million cedis before contracts are awarded to them. Also, South Tongue MP fight of claim flood victims failed to heed early warnings from authorities to evacuate ahead of dam spillage, insisting even members of parliament were kept in the dark.
If you have carried out those intensive exercises, I think the members of parliament would have really heard about it.
What do we have in business?
Business community calls for expeditious release of the second tranche of the International Monetary Fund bailout package to sustain stability of the city. Details on the Joy Business Report.
Also in this bulletin, losing his right hand at the age of 6 did not stop Amos from dreaming to be a world-class athletics champion. He's vigorously pursuing that dream, plus an added profession, barber.
Doctors confirm that they are late, so they can't do anything about it unless they cut it. And I can do all things by myself. I don't depend on anyone. And always I steadily using both, and I want to also become a superstar like them.
That's in our Stories of Hope series today. And later, we put a spotlight on the exceptional 16-year-old senior high school student who helped the Opokuwari School qualify to its first grand finale of the National Science and Maths Quiz in 3 years. Details of this and more with me, Hannah Odami. We start with the Roads and Highways Ministry, which has requested the Executive Director of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EUCO, to fully investigate allegations that road contractors are asked to pay 1 million cedis before contracts are awarded to them. Now, this follows comments by former rector of GEMPA, Professor Stephen Adai, that he has information to the effect that persons seeking road contracts are told, quote, road contract to be given to you provided you pay 1 million cedis upfront, end of quote. Well, my colleague Maxwell Agbagba joins me in the studio with more from that particular statement. So tell us the details.
Well, Hannah, in the said interview with Accra-based TV3, Professor Day alleged that he had information to the effect that persons seeking road contracts are told to pay 1 million cedis upfront. The statement says these allegations are surprising, at the least because the processes leading to the award of road contracts are open, transparent, competitive, and in accordance with the law. It says, given that the alleged conduct borders on crime against the Republic, the Minister for Roads and Highways, Kwesi Amoah-Akwata, requested Executive Director of the Economic and Organized Crime Office to fully investigate the allegations. The ministry wishes to assure the public that it shall cooperate fully and support EUCO in the conduct of its investigations. Anna.
And you find the statement on myjoyonline.com. Let's move on. Embarrassing. That's how Ghana's High Commissioner to the UK, Papa Owusu-Ankoma, describes the attempt by oil trading firm Trafigura to seize and auction properties belonging to Ghana in the United Kingdom. It comes as government admits it is struggling to pay off $140 million debts awarded to Trafigura. As a result, the company has threatened to sell Ghana's High Commission building, which provides visa and other services in the UK, as well as the Commissioner's residence and the Ghana International Bank building.
I am embarrassed as a High Commissioner, for this thing to appear on the internet and everything, and being a subject matter of discussion in the media in Ghana and here, in the Ghanaian media here. So I'm certain why. It's serious, but it's just that, as I've told you, even for those in private business, it gets to a stage you have to prioritize payments. And when you don't have access to credit and money is being generated, does not meet your obligation, you prioritize.
Well, Papa Owusu-Ankoma added the Finance Ministry is currently engaging oil trading firm Trafigura to liquidate that debt. But
I'm sure the government is taking steps to liquidate this debt. It's unfortunate that we've come to this stage. It appears our financial circumstances as a country, probably, I'm not holding brief for the finance minister, but that may have constrained the finance ministry from honoring the obligation to pay the debt by installments. But I'm aware that the finance ministry is presently engaged in negotiations with the lawyers for the judgment creditor to liquidate this debt.
You heard the Ghana's High Commissioner to the UK, Papa Owusu Ankoma. Member of Parliament for South Tongue, Kobina Woyome, is dismissing claims flood victims failed to heed early warning signs from authorities to evacuate ahead of the Akosombo Dam spillage. Over 36,000 persons in 3 regions continue to reel under the devastating impact of the spillage. Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources yesterday suggested the current burden on persons displaced by the spillage will have lessened if they listen to calls to relocate to safer zones. Take a listen.
Akosombo spillage, even though VRA, NADMO, the Water Resources Commission came together to educate the people in the community, did simulation exercises with them even at Lepe. Yet they refused to leave. They didn't want to be evacuated. They stayed there till the end when we started spilling.
Well, South Tongue MP disagrees, insisting even members of parliament were kept in the dark.
If you have carried out those intensive exercises, I think the members of parliament would have really heard about it or be invited to be part of some of the meetings leading to those exercises being held. Meeting the various communities and talking to them, and of course carrying out the simulation of what you're intending to do. I'm sure we are key stakeholders of our various constituencies, and we cannot just be wished away in all of this, because we would have gone down to the people and talked to them.
You heard the Member of Parliament for South Tongue, Kobina Woyome. Now, imagine a barber who does his work with dexterity with one hand. That's not all. He's also an athlete and a key member of Ghana's Paralympic team training for the Games in 2024. His story is one that evokes hope. Hope that regardless of one's condition, he or she can achieve anything with determination. I sat with him for today's story of hope.
At a point, I wanted to commit suicide because people will be pointing hands on you.
That was his best escape from the dejection and anxiety he felt because he had only one function in hand.
When I was 6 years old, I went to climb a tree. And when I landed, I couldn't land well, so I hit. But when they got there, the doctors confirmed that they are late. So they can't do anything about it unless they cut it.
He forever thanks his teacher, who discovered his athletic talent through a compulsory physical education session.
When it matters who you are, he will sack everyone to the field. So I joined some groups of people to run. I became first. So since that day, he never jokes with me.
At dawn every weekday, Amos sharpens his talent by training. Then after, he works as a barber. Barbering, he says, helped him raise enough money to pay for his senior high school fees.
So they used to call me Blessing because they think I can do all things by myself. I don't depend on anyone. More times I'll be in my schools, some of the students are DB. So if I see that you are DB, I'll charge you much. If I say you are hustle like me, I'll know how to.
Amos recalled that he used to be discouraged by disparaging comments and reactions made towards him, but added those emotions no longer trigger him to give up.
I had a picture of it, so sometimes when I look on it, like I feel like crying. Sometimes people would say, oh, by this time cry, you went to store and this thing has happened and they got his son. And you want to call somebody for a help, but the person might not mind. So every day I encourage myself that God will help me, and always I steadily assembled. And there is one guy at Brazil, he called Patricio. Now I want to also become a superstar like them.
For Joinis, I am Hannah Odame. Well, the Food and Drugs Authority is cautioning citizens against purchasing Diaboost, an unregistered fake supplement promoted on social media by 360Y Courier Services situated at Reed Junction in Medina. The product is making claims it can eradicate diabetes and normalize blood sugar levels after initial use, assertions the FDA debunks. We'll bring you excerpts of the statement released by the FDA shortly. But first, marketers of this fake product have gone as far as cloning Joinis anchors to promote the drug. Listen.
Today on air, Dr. Johnson Haynes will talk about a drug from the USA that effectively fights hypertension like a common cold.
There's a real epidemic of cardiovascular disease in Ghana, 57% among people over the age of 35. Thousands of people die every year due to inappropriate treatment. Large private pharmacies are restricting access to effective drugs for profit.
That was a clone voice of my colleague Benjamin Akakpo, and management of Joy News is not taking this lightly. As we speak, our team of investigators are tracking the syndicates behind the fake adverts. My colleague Fred Smith joins me with details of that statement released by the FDA on this matter. What does it say, Fred?
Well, the authority says the drug is fake. It's not been registered by the FDA, and therefore its efficacy, quality, and most importantly, safety for diabetics cannot be guaranteed by the authority. And the authority is advising all diabetics to strictly adhere to prescribed treatment by their doctors and discuss any alternative treatment with them as well to avoid any complications. It goes on to say that Ms. Mary Alimena, who is the distributor in Ghana, is currently assisting the police with the investigation and is also advising any person who has bought any of these products to return them immediately to the FDA or to the supplier.
Thank you so much, Fred. Well, it's 6. A 16-year-old Form 1 student of the Pokowari School has made history by qualifying the school to the grand finale of the National Science and Maths Quiz in 3 years. Stephen Apemaba has become the poster boy for the school's success as it anticipates ending a 21-year-old NSMQ trophy drought. And we'll bring you all those details in subsequent bulletins. That's it for the news at 6 with me, Hannah Odame. Please log on to my Joy Online.